Hello and welcome to the Mindset and Mindfulness podcast with me, your host, Sandy Powell.
Welcome to this episode. Finding fulfillment and meaning in your life is so important. However, it is not easy to find your purpose and find your own path. There are so many distractions and challenges, so many paths to choose from, that it is sometimes very overwhelming. Not only that, the fear of choosing wrong or getting stuck are what keeps so many people in unhappy and unfulfilled lives. However, there are also things we can do to gain more clarity, invite more stillness into our life, and with that, our own path becomes clearer. Here to help us with that is empowerment coach and author Peta Cashion. She helps entrepreneurs strengthen resilience and growth through life's ups and downs. She's also a mother of 3 beautiful daughters. Welcome, Peta.
Thank you, Sandy. It's great to be here.
Yes, I'm so glad we got together today. Well, I have to ask, how does one become an empowerment coach? How did it come to be?
Wonderful question. And thank you for asking me that. It gives me an opportunity to reflect on where I am right now and where I kind of come from. And I have to say that my journey has been really through learning about my life has been my greatest teacher. If that's what I can pinpoint on, like what I've experienced throughout my life has definitely been the greatest teacher to me, and my life experiences and being able to grow and heal through them has definitely been the beginning of my journey. And going through this journey of learning, I was my first, I was my first client before I became a coach. So I was going through this journey, learning and evolving and transforming my life, and couldn't believe how impactful that was, understanding mindset and incorporating mindfulness. So it began for me when I did a mindfulness course. I actually signed up to do a mindfulness course, and it just opened a whole new world to me. And I connected so much more with myself personally and everybody around me. Now, it wasn't an easy journey. Like, it wasn't something, a simple and easy journey, but
Right.
it was definitely life-changing for myself to go through that. And then it led me to coaching others, taking them through the journey of their own transformation. So that's what brings me. Yeah.
So beautiful. See, I started my journey with a course on mindfulness myself. It's so cool.
Amazing.
And I can totally connect to what you're saying. It transformed my life too. I never knew that that's what it was missing. Little did I know when I signed up for the course that it was really the start of such an amazing, journey. So yeah.
Absolutely. And I have to say, Sandy, at the beginning, I don't know about you, how it was for you, but at the beginning of the mindfulness course, I was going, I'm so not getting this.
Yeah.
I'm at the moment, I'm just so not getting it. And I guess it was because I was being introduced to so much something new, something unknown and unfamiliar. And then it wasn't until later that I started to realize that everything that I was learning in that mindfulness course, I was starting to incorporate in my life. And it became like little anchors, to tap back into. I think especially mindset and mindfulness, like working the two together. I remember like mindset sort of starts with the mindset is mindset. Like, what are you set on focusing on? and you become aware of that. And then incorporating mindfulness is like being in the present. You know, you're full, your mind is full in the present moment. And combining the two of those together has been, yeah, absolutely amazing for me.
Wow,
Yeah.
beautifully said. But yes, now that you say it, I want to say it for me too. It was more the beginning of the journey, like the spark, the first domino that fell. Because yes, like you, I was like not getting it. I was like really bad at mindfulness, at meditation, at sitting still. My mind was constantly going somewhere else, and I was doing it with my daughter being in the next room, and every now and then she would like walk in and stuff. But that was exactly why mindfulness was so necessary. I was like losing my mind slowly. And that's why I'm saying this like so changed my life. Like I just taking the first step in taking the class and making that 1 hour available to just me,
Yes.
that was so like life-changing. Like just that step, that first step to realizing I need to do something for myself. I need
Mm.
I need that break. Because before, like, I was really, 24/7 with my daughter, and oh my gosh, I love her dearly, right? But it is very taxing, right? Just not having a break. So, and I always felt, yeah, like a bad mom or something, right? I always had that pressure on myself. Oh my gosh, I need to be with her, and how am I having these feelings of like I need a break and things like that.
Yeah.
But that class really truly helped me shift that and just kind of open up, yeah, a little door, just a crack. Because like I said, yeah, I felt like I'm not getting it, I'm not doing it right, but it really just opened the possibility of there is a solution, there is a way. I just need to keep digging. I need to go, I just need to go on that journey. I just need to practice. I need to find, it just kind of gave me that spark, like I said. And it's been so, yes, transformational from that moment forward.
I love that. Yes, I can very much relate to what you're saying. Yeah, that finding time for yourself, it's strange, right? It's not something that we get into the habit of doing, but we can definitely incorporate it and have that balance. Yeah.
Yes, and it's so important, right? If we want to show up for anybody as our best version, then we need to take care of ourselves first. But that was such a
Absolutely.
tough lesson to learn for me. Like I'm saying it now, but like really happened, and there's still moments to this day where it's, I'm falling out of it, and I'm realizing after the fact, like, you know what, I really should, take a moment. I really need, to take care of myself. I need some moments by myself because I'm really, overwhelmed in some way or shape or form. I have let it out of my sight. And so it is a
Mm,
practice. That's why mindfulness and all these things, meditation, all those things are really practices. These are really things you work on. There's no perfection. There's really just progress and taking it one day at a time and just trying again and doing it better tomorrow.
absolutely. Absolutely. I love that.
Well, I imagine that life can get pretty busy as an entrepreneur yourself, and then raising 3 children. So are there ever moments when things get overwhelming, or even moments when you feel like, you lost sight of your way? And if so, are there maybe any tips that you could give our listeners, of how to maybe stay calm or find your way back?
Mm, yes. So right. I love the it's all about distraction for me. Being able to, especially life's busy for everybody. We're all, and it's getting busier. We're getting so many. There's so many more distractions coming, and it seems to be getting more difficult to kind of wind that back a little bit. But I think it's about being able to recognize that this is kind of the environment that we're in. This is the world that we're living in. And the reality is that we are going to get distracted, and there are going to be things that are, things that are happening that kind of pull us away from what we're focusing on. And what I have learned myself that has helped me so much is just allowing myself to have grace you know, in those moments where I get distracted, I get off track. And I mean, let's face it, no matter how much you create a routine, no 2 days are the same, right? Like you know, each day is going to be different. But if we're using what it is that we're focusing on to come back to as our anchor, we can navigate all the unexpected things that happen, and just give yourself grace for it. You know, I think being able to accept that I'm not going to be able to do everything can come the end of the day, it's like, well, you know, what did I achieve today, and am I grateful for what I achieved today? And that's probably a big thing for me, in being able to navigate the different changes throughout the day, and just being kind and compassionate to myself, and being aware of how I'm actually speaking to myself.
Yes, that was what I was thinking. That was a big part for me too. Through mindfulness, or through the journey, I have come to recognize how I used to speak to myself, and that it wasn't always very kind, right? We offer that so gracefully, we offer that so nicely to other people, right? We want to saying, oh, you know, to our children, you know, oh, and don't take it so serious, don't do this, whatever, like take it, you know, give yourself grace and things like that. And then we also do that with other people, but to ourselves, or me personally, like I was very harsh and always, like more, and I need to do this, and I had such high standards of myself, and then I was letting myself down, and I was beating myself up, like it was this cycle, right? And at some point I was like, oh my gosh, like, what am I doing? Like at some point I just kind of woke up and was like, why? Like, you know, like it is okay for me to have the feelings, like, you know, like I said, like I love my daughter, I love her dearly, I wouldn't want to, you know, and have her missed in my life, but it is okay to say that I don't want 24/7, you know, every single second with her. It is okay that I want to be by myself for, like, I don't know, an hour, a minute, you know, whatever. That is okay, right? And that is natural, and that it should be, right? And it's just really exactly having that grace, having that insight as to, you know, that I'm speaking kindly to myself. That definitely, how I'm feeling, that I'm feeling good about myself. Like I don't need, there's so many things that stress us out and that make us feel bad already in our life. Like I don't need to add to that, right? Like I need to be the calm, the center, the nice home that I come home to. Like me, myself, I need to work on being that harbor, right? That peace.
Absolutely. And I think it wasn't until later that I started to recognize that I got to choose. You know, I got to choose the state that I was in, and oh my goodness, that was just like, you know, life changing. I got to choose what was happening in the moment. It's kind of like you get to tune, like, you know, changing the radio station and the frequency, right? So you get to tune into what it is that you want to tune into at that time. And I love how you said that, you know, making time for yourself and loving your children. I have, like, you know, I have 3 daughters. They're teenagers now. And if there's something that I could share, it would be to a new mother. When you experience birth, I don't know, I experienced this moment of, I have to do everything for this baby. Like this little baby is just totally reliant on me. And I adapted to that, which we adapt to that. And then it becomes very difficult to kind of step away of going, I can honor a little bit of time for myself, you know, like, instead of being there 24/7, because that's what we tend to do. Naturally, we tend to do that. And it's easier to put others first before we put ourselves first. Yeah, absolutely. And not so easy to put ourselves first, but it's not even, I guess it's not even that. It's that we're filling our own cup so that we can fill others.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Yes.
Definitely.
Yeah. Well. So you said that, yeah, you use an anchor to ground yourself in your life. So I wanted to know if there's maybe like a special routine or any tips that you have, something that's maybe close to your heart that you could maybe share with us that has helped
Yeah,
you, find that anchor in
yeah,
your life when things get
yeah,
chaotic.
definitely. I think the big one for me, it's quite simple. It's a and it even though it's simple, it's very like it's a disruptor, to anything that's going on. And and it even might even sound silly, but to me, it's like I visualize when I start to feel myself getting anxious or overwhelmed,
Mhm.
and I become very aware of that. So, because it's a feeling, I've been able to recognize that feeling within myself. And then I'm like, what am I thinking about? Sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't even know what I'm thinking about. Like there could be
Mhm.
so many thoughts going on that I don't even know. But
Mhm.
I will send my focus down into my toes, and my toes are connected to the earth. So whether that is the grounding for me. So
Right.
in that moment, that is definitely one of the steps that I use. It's grounding me in the moment to become really aware and check in with, what's going on for me. What am I thinking right now? And it
Mhm.
kind of it kind of doles out everything else that's going on, and it
Right.
gives me a moment just to collect myself, like, where am I right now? What am I thinking? What am I feeling? What am I seeing? And
Right.
that's the moment just to check in. Yeah.
Wow, that sounds so
Hmm.
powerful.
Yeah. Simple but powerful. Yeah.
Yes. No, because yes, that was definitely a big thing for me too, trying to figure out, what are the triggers? Why am I feeling overwhelmed? Why am I, I don't know, get flustered, maybe start to get louder with my, more snappy with my daughter and things like that, and trying to really recognize it more, like what is the trigger and how am I feeling and how can I stretch it, right? Because I was always looking for the pause. I've read so many books about,
Yes.
management of emotions, and, like how you were like, oh, count backwards from, 10 to 1 and then respond and things like that. But for me, I was, um, in like 2 seconds. And then I was like, I can't do that. I don't have a pause. Like, how do I install that button? And so it took
Yeah.
so long for me to find to really, make the space in between, like me feeling into my feeling and then my reaction, like it used to be like one and the same, like reaction, it was just boom. And now I recognize, like, okay, there's something brewing, and
Yes.
okay, if I don't do something, I might, or like even when I'm doing, I'm like, take a breath. It is just whatever, spilled milk, or I don't know, something. And I'm trying to, okay, calm myself. And I just, yeah, I can see how, maybe feeling into it even more with the body thing that you just did, that could even help me more, if I say, hey, let's feel into that and let's ground myself into the feet. I think that's like
Yeah.
such a great, a great anchor. I can totally see why you say it. It's an anchor because yes, that makes total sense. I love that. Thank you for sharing. That's so
Oh,
good.
pleasure. Pleasure.
Yeah, see
It
what I
kind of
found. Oh, sorry, go.
No, sorry, you were going to say.
No, I was just gonna say what I also found for myself to ground myself in the day is start my day out with me, taking a moment to myself, however short or long that might be. Sometimes it's an hour, sometimes it's 10 minutes, but if I just find a moment before the hectic day starts and find a moment to myself, that has been a game changer for me too.
Wonderful, wonderful. Like when you first started your mindfulness course, was there something that you remember that stuck out to you in that course that stuck out to you that you connected with?
Yes.
Yeah,
So the biggest thing that I took away, apart from I really need to take time for myself, more time for myself, like I need to make
yeah,
this a continuous thing,
Yeah.
right, was she did a meditation with us. And in there was like things like, I give myself permission. I give myself permission to feel this and that way. I give myself permission that I don't have to always produce something. I give myself permission, like all these things. And I remember I listened to that thing over and over and over. Like it was like, I don't even know, like 10 minutes. And that somehow that hit a chord like so deeply. And I just knew like I had to listen over. Sometimes I listen, like 3 times. It just like I was like, husband, you take my daughter for a second. I need to go. And I just was like, okay,
Oh,
10
I
minutes.
love
I
that.
need to go for a walk. And I listened to that over and over because like I felt like those were the words I needed to hear. I give myself permission to feel happy, to feel sad, to feel whatever I'm feeling and things like that, right? Like to really,
Wow.
that was like the beginning
Yeah.
of everything for me.
Got you. Yeah. So that was your anchor. Hearing that,
Yes.
that message,
Mm-hmm.
that was your anchor, and you use that to keep coming back into yourself. That's what I'm hearing. Does that
Yes.
sound right? Yeah.
Yes. But it also
Wow.
made me so aware of like, it is okay. Whatever I am feeling is okay, right? I don't need to
Yeah.
beat myself up for all the things that I do or
Beautiful.
not do. It is
Yeah.
okay because that's what I'm saying. Like we're so good with others, right? Like, oh, it's okay to
Yeah.
feel down. It's okay with this, but to ourselves, we don't always use the same standard. And that's
Yeah.
what I found. That's what really shifted that. And
Yeah.
especially, yeah, don't busy. Like I don't have to be always busy. I am not what I produce was one of the sentences too. I am not what I produce. Like I don't have to, like whatever. If I didn't clean the house or I didn't do this or that, it didn't matter. Like that didn't, like that's just
Yes.
something I didn't do. But that doesn't mean I am less worth of anything,
Beautiful.
And it
So
was,
so what I'm hearing is you got self-acceptance out of that.
yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Self-awareness. And
Yeah.
self-acceptance. Yeah.
And self-acceptance. Yeah, and that's powerful. That is so powerful, like a place to begin in that, awareness of accepting yourself as you are. I love that. I love that. And
Yes.
the reason why I ask is because I had a similar experience in all the course and everything that happened. It was actually doing something that stuck with me the most. And
Mm.
there were two things. We were doing a like a walking meditation,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that is where the grounding has come for me. It's become the anchor for me, because I'm thinking, why do I go to my toes? Like, why do I do that? I question so many things now. It's like, why am I going to my toes? But we did a walking meditation, and we were pacing on the floor in bare feet, and it was about concentrating on where you are in the moment, and being supported by the earth, and being connected to that. And that was the anchor for me. So for me, it was anchoring into my body, and then becoming aware of where I am, what's going on, and what are my thoughts. And it was just that real check-in for myself.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
and
I
and
love
it and I didn't realize that how powerful that was until, I mean, it was years ago that I did this course,
that. Mm-hmm.
but I've adapted something from there. And what I'm hearing is you've taken something and adapted to it as well,
Oh,
what you've
definitely.
learned. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Now that you said it, I also remember that the motor experiences seem to be better at first, right? Like I had a hard time, just sitting there and
Yeah.
breathing or sitting there and meditating, but like the mindful walking and things like, doing something that took my mind off things and just I also find that with yoga. Like I always liked yoga because it shut off my brain, because like if I have to follow this teacher, she's going to tell me for the next hour, she's going to tell me what I need to do, and I can just lean into that. That was always
Yeah.
like, oh, thank God, that was
Yes.
easier for me. That was the one thing to kind of, switch off my brain.
Yeah.
And yes, I remember doing the walking. Like I said, I went for a walk and I listened to her. And that I just really needed that permission. I really needed that. For some reason, I needed to give that to myself.
Yeah.
Really, yeah. And yes, I did start the barefoot walk too. I find whenever I am super out of balance or whatever, and I reconnect much quicker if I'm barefoot
Yeah.
to myself and to the, because I can feel it better. I can really feel the walk and the ground and stuff. So I can really feel grounded faster. I can see that too. Now that you said it. As soon as you said the mindful walk, I was like, oh yes, okay.
Yeah.
That's helpful too.
For sure.
Oh, it's so fun to
Amazing.
exchange notes.
Yeah.
But there,
Yeah,
here we
definitely.
already see that there's some, like differences and something similarities, right? But that's exactly what we were saying before. It is just everybody is different. Everybody takes something different out of it and applies it different too. Like even, we're going through a mindfulness course and we may have had some similar, right, experiences or exercises that we did there, but it didn't turn out the same way. No. And I think it's really powerful. It's really powerful. It's as unique as our fingerprints, as our each lives. That's how each person has to apply, find their own way to apply it.
Yeah, absolutely. And so a lot of people will say, oh, meditation's not for me. Like I don't enjoy meditation, or they'll be saying, oh, I can't do meditation. And it's you don't do it. Like you don't have to do it. It's not a right or wrong, like it's a tool. It's a tool to be able
just
to
one of the options.
Yes, absolutely. And that is a practice. Like, it's like anything. We start something the first time and we're not good at it, and we will think, oh, I just can't do this. And too often we'll give up before we've even crossed the line of going, okay, this is feeling a little bit more familiar to me now. And they say that it takes a while before we create that habit of feeling of something familiar. So it's trial and see what resonates and honor that ultimately. I think that's the key, is to not have that expectation on yourself. This is what I should be doing, and this should be working for me. And if it's not, that's okay. Like there are other things that you can try and get creative. And this is what is so powerful, Sandy, us speaking to each other, and then you're being able to tell me what it is that you experienced, and I'm able to share what I experienced, and then we start to understand that everyone is different. Everything works differently for everyone.
Yes, exactly. See, that makes me remember one more thing, because I was saying, right, like how I used to, like before I even started my mindfulness journey, I used to go to yoga. That was the one thing. But now I actually and then I could never think of like, how can I do this by myself, right? Like I've had friends or something that even if we weren't in the class together, like they would do it at home, and I never did that because I would never know what to do, kind of thing. And these days it's actually the opposite way. Like I actually enjoy it so much more doing it by myself, because now I know all the things, how I like to move, and I can listen into my body and feel like, oh, today this is tight, and I have to move this way and that way, which the teacher might not do that. What I need in this moment. So now I'm actually like it way more when I can do my own yoga class and just kind of pick and choose which movements will feel best for me today. That's it. And that, I just realized, is such a big shift too.
Absolutely, because you're coming into your own way of doing something, and you're feeling more confident in doing that. And you're becoming aware of what feels right for you.
Yeah, exactly. But of course, that also took quite some years.
Of course. And I think we need to give ourselves time, the time to be able to adapt to something new, because we're often thinking that we should know this by now, or, it's just giving ourselves the time and the grace. Yeah.
Everything is also so fast these days, right? You can look at YouTube and like, well, make a YouTube video in 2 seconds and this and that. Everything is so fast, so quick. So I think people get, so used to that click culture, and everything is so fast. You get your fast food, you get everything fast. You get your answer from Google. Everything is there in seconds, and then they're like turned off if like something needs time.
Absolutely. And everything is fighting for our attention right now. And it's easy for us, our attention to be drawn in to so many different things. It's it goes both ways. There is so many, it's a whole new world. There's never a moment of, it's finding the moment of, silence and just being within yourself. And what's happening is I find that the mind is speeding up, the mind of, I've got to do this, I've got this to do, and this, like our minds are just going constantly. And they seem to be, it feels like that's going faster as well. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that's definitely something that I catch myself into, like when I get, too flustered or stressed, like really try and think, okay, what is going on? Like there's definitely too many things. Like I'm making dinner, I'm doing the laundry, I'm doing the shopping list, I'm playing with my daughter, I'm feeding the dog, like there's everything happening. And I just feel like the tension rising, and I'm like, okay, I just something needs to give. What is the most important task right now? Dinner, because everybody's going to lose it if there's no dinner. So let's focus on dinner first. Everything else, if the laundry isn't done, if the house is not cleaned, the shopping list isn't done, that's all okay. But putting dinner on the table, that's crucial for everybody. So let's do that. So that's how I find, I'm just kind of weeding through, all the different tasks. There's also days, like different things, there's days where I can handle that very well, like especially in the mornings, right? I can't multitask and I can do so many things. And I'm like, hi, I'm doing so great today, right? I've accomplished so many things. And then there's other moments where I'm like, oh man, dinner. Just dinner is like a struggle today, right? But that is okay. That's just us, recognizing that it's okay. We're at the end of our day too. Maybe it's been a really tough day. And just knowing that, giving yourself the grace, as you said, right? And recognizing, okay, it's been a tough day and we're at our end too. Let's just, throw some pasta on and make it something easy peasy and just, go with the flow. Don't do anything crucial anymore. And just kind of, tomorrow is another day.
Absolutely. I love that. You're so right. And that becomes the focus, your dinner is the focus. So it brings you back. And another thing, I love what you're saying, because I do the same thing, like the chaos is going to come up, like, the chaos that's going to come if no one's eaten dinner, like, the hangry is going to come out, So we know how important it is. But another thing is, I find when I do that, and it's like, okay, I'll get focused on that one thing, I actually do a little bit of self-reflection of, and I didn't come up with this. I heard somebody else mention it, but it really stuck with me. And it's about, how many tabs do you have open on your computer?
A lot.
Yeah. So when I heard that, I was like, oh, that is so true. Like we have so many things going on, right? And when we come into that focus, like, okay, I'm going to cook dinner now. I'm going to just, come into this moment, and I reflect on, what have I got open? What's distracting me? What are those tabs that are open that I can no longer at the moment work on, because this is, cooking dinner is going to be my focus. So I'll close those tabs. I'll just close them. It's like, and it's becoming less and less clutter for me to have to worry about.
Exactly.
And not go back to, because ultimately, like you said, it's you get through that, you go through the motions of that, and then the next day is another day. You've got, you're going into that next step. So I found that really helpful. Close the tabs.
Yes. But that's also why sometimes it's so good for me to have that space in the morning, right? Because then I can pick out the tabs. I can look at, hey, what was it that I didn't, I had to drop? What was it that I, like I like to reflect on the previous day? Is there something that I, hadn't had a chance because last night was like a bit of a chaos, so there's unresolved feelings, right? I had to drop a whole bunch of things, and then I like to pick that back up and, go through it, why was I overwhelmed? What was it that was so stressful yesterday? Or, what are the things that I really need to focus on today? And what is like number one, just in case, other things have to drop off? What is the most crucial thing? Or are they all not so crucial? Can something wait? So that's really helpful for me, like that's how I get focused and not get so overwhelmed or anchored, as you said, in my day, right? Because like if I just open my eyes and I didn't have that, and my daughter just kind of counts at me, and then the day just started, and then I have to figure it out on the go. And I'm like, what was it that I was supposed to do today? Oh my God. That's when I already get flustered, just by trying to figure it out while things are coming at me. So that's why I feel like that morning for me, it has been so helpful in getting my attention right, getting grounded, figuring things out, having a moment to myself, reflecting, unresolved things maybe from the previous day, and then just my day starts off right.
Absolutely. You're setting a clear intention, and I find that golden hour in the morning, like that is the start for your day. It sets us up, on how the day's gonna play. We have no control over what's gonna happen, but for me, it's been like it puts me in a place where I know that I can control my response to everything that's going on around me rather than reacting.
Exactly. Yeah. Get out of the reactive state. Exactly.
Yeah.
Into the proactive. What is it that, how do I choose? What is it that I want to accomplish? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's the connection with me with mindfulness, is that it's giving me that opportunity to check in with myself and understand, okay, so, this is what's going on. And you feel the rise like a volcano, like before the volcano erupts, there's a heat.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
There's heat. There's
for me,
something
it's tension
going on.
Like really like,
tension in your body. Absolutely. So it's becoming aware of that. What's coming up, what's coming up right now. Like I know that I know that something's going to come out that's going to be a reaction. And that's where that mindfulness really works with, being able to tap into, okay, so right now I'm feeling all this, and to sit with that for a moment and then go, okay, I know I'm in a position where I have a choice on how I'm going to respond to this.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that also doesn't happen overnight.
No.
That is years and years and years of practice and working on. No, I mean, I'm just saying for whoever is listening, because that is the crucial part, right?
Of course. I'm still practicing.
Yeah, but when you listen to something like that, you're like, oh my God, well, that works for you, but I don't think that will work for me. And I'm like,
no.
But that is exactly how we all start out. Like we all like, oh my God, like, I don't know. Just like I said with the pause earlier, right? Like I had to work very, very, very hard and long on making that pause just a second, and, and then 2 seconds, 3 seconds. And, I can maybe catch myself 3 times, and then the 4th time there's a boom. Okay. And I'm like, well, I did good 3 times, right? Like you also have to celebrate the wins and really look at, like I am moving in the right direction. I am making progress. It is all a working progress. That's also something to remember. And like we said, give grace. Really, like whoever is listening and thinking, oh my God, where do I start? Like really just start somewhere, pick one thing that you want to try out, and then just stick with it. Stick with it for like a month. Do something every day, and you don't have like, you don't have to do it an hour. Do like, I don't know, 5 minutes of journaling, 5 minutes of meditation, of breathing, of tapping, of mindful walking, whatever, floaty boat, yoga. I mean, whatever comes to mind, whatever you want to try out, and then just stick with it. And, if it is something for you, and you get something out of it, then yay. it might, grow and expand. And if not, well, then choose something different next month and just give it another whirl, and do that until you find, what works for you and what you want to expand on. And, just have that in your toolkit, have that on your belt. And when, things go crazy, that's what you hopefully can come back to. But you all have to
Absolutely.
practice it in quiet. You always have to practice it first for yourself.
Yes.
And then you're able to apply it when shit hits the fan. Pardon my French.
You're 100% right. And we're equipped for it. We're ready for it. It's going to happen. And that's the other thing on the other side of that, I think, when are we ever not going to be facing, difficult times in our life? That's unrealistic. It's not going to happen, right? So it's like, it's accepting that, we go through these changes, and it's where we are more than capable of finding these strategies or these tools that help us, and whatever that will be, that's good for us.
Yeah.
That's good for us, hopefully, in the state of that it's good for us, and it's good for others, and it's good for the greater good. It's not something that's destructive to ourselves or destructive to others. It's something that it has a ripple effect from there. Yeah.
Oh, Peta, I think we've hit some gold over here. I love it.
I do too. I do.
There's gonna be some good snippets coming out of here, I hope.
Yes, 100%. 100%. Thank you,
I knew you were
Sandy.
the right girl for the job.
Yeah, I think we're just so aligned with the what the topic that we're talking about, because, and especially where we come from, what we've both experienced with the opening of mindfulness, and how our journey started with the mindfulness, really. That is right back to the beginning, how we've come through this journey. And I don't know, I can't even remember how many years it's been since I did that. I'd probably say, the mindfulness course is probably around maybe 7 or 8 years ago that I did that. Yeah. So, it's definitely evolved, and it's not, like you said, it's not something that we just learn. Like, I'm still to this day practicing. There are moments that it's, something will come up, and I guess it's kind of like there is a big Pandora's box. Yeah. and there's a lot in that. So it's not just, it's not just what's going on around us now and, going into the future. But it's about what we've stuffed into that box from the past, that we've held on, that has made us who we are today, that has shaped us into who we are today. But the beauty of mindfulness is that we can reshape that. That everything that's in there, we can totally yes we can totally transform that. And that's really empowering to know that we are able to transform that within ourselves.
Well, it's like different layers. You're unearthing different layers, right? What has affected you, like 3 years ago, 8 years ago, is not what you're working on today. Those are all opportunities for you to grow. And then you grow, and then you unearth the next layer, the next opportunities for growth, right? Because life always throws things at you so that you can grow, right? Also a mindset thing, right? To see it as a positive challenge. Oh, wonderful. Oh, wonderful. What an opportunity this is, right?
Yes. Absolutely. And I think looking, it's so true what you're saying. And I think looking for solutions rather than more problems, there's enough problems out there.
Oh, yes.
And there's enough to get caught up in if you wanted to, and subconsciously we do. I think it's just a natural process that we all do get caught up in that. But knowing that, there are solutions, there are ways that we can navigate, and we can create those solutions ourselves.
Yes. Yeah, and especially with all the blinking lights and all the 1 minute here, 1 minute there. Of course, there's so many distractions, like we said in the beginning. So yes, it's even more important, I think, to tune in, to choose to stillness, to come into ourselves, to block off all the noise and all the blinking lights and all the outside noises and voices. Absolutely. And listen in to what it is that, you know, works for us, that makes us feel good.
Yeah. And I think the role of being a parent, well, I know for myself, like the role of being a parent is not about getting it right. You know, I can't get everything right. It's impossible to do that. Yeah, absolutely. But I think the best way for me to show this to my children, or, you know, to pass this on to my children, is I think children learn so much about what they see and what they hear. So if I'm being this myself, like, and I'm doing these practices and I'm doing this for myself, they can't not see it. You know, they cannot see it. And it becomes something that they become aware of. Instead of me telling them, oh, you know, you should be doing this. And I come more into, this is what I'm being and this is what I'm doing. I'm able to show, I'm leading by that example.
Yes, I think that's the most important part. Yes, like living it authentically, because they are not, the research has shown over and over, right, that they will listen more to what you're saying if you're congruent with what you're doing, right? Like, you have to show it. They follow what you do more than what you say. And so leaning into that, okay, I really have to be that role model. I have to walk the talk and really show up as the person that I want not only myself to be, but I want my daughter to be as well. Exactly. Showing up.
And if that's a gift, or if that's something that I can teach them, like, to me, that is I think that's a wonderful thing to be able to share.
Oh, yes. You know? Yeah, it's part of my biggest motivator, really, my daughter, being a parent, transforming me, as hard as it has been, but because I know, you know, I can only show up as a good parent, as good as I have become, because I've done the work. I could have stayed stuck, and I could have, you know, just repeated the generational cycles and just put that all on her. Or I work on it and bring it to a stop, or hopefully lessen the load.
Yes.
I'm sure I'm still bringing things on her that, you know, has nothing to do with her. But like you said, nobody's perfect. There's no, you know, perfect thing, you know, when it comes to parenting. But I mean, at least lessening the load, becoming more aware of what I'm showing up as, and just becoming more mindful also with the parenting that I'm doing. Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely. Tuning into our frequency, you know, what is the frequency that we're tuning into personally, and that's we're sending out. I think it's a really great place to start. And I think it's helpful. I think it's a helpful place to start.
Very much so.
Yeah.
It's been so powerful.
Amazing.
Goodness. See, we filled an hour, haven't we? Oh my goodness.
Wow. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being here on the show today. I really appreciate it. And if you guys want to hear more from Peta or connect with her, please have a look in the show notes. Thank you so much, and have a good one. Bye.
Thank you, Sandy. Bye.